Either welcome to Prime Sports. To me, Razak Musbao. Now, Parliament did begin probe into the state of the sports and sector and invited conveners and members of the Save Ghana Football Organization, along with the Minister for Youth and Sports and Chairman of the Ghana League Clubs Association, where questions relating to the state of the sector were asked of them, with suggestions also demanded of them. My colleague, Victor Achutamaklo, was there on the first day of the probe and filed this report.
The Parliamentary Select Committee on Sports has begun deliberations on the contents of the petition filed earlier this year by the sports pressure group, Save Ghana Football. After Ghana's abysmal showing at the African Cup of Nations in Côte d'Ivoire, the group led a demonstration against the Ghana Football Association and the government over what they described as the mismanagement of the game. Appearing before Parliament today, lead convener for the group, Sadiq Adams, a sports journalist, re-echoed the 15 points plan the group submitted to Parliament for the resuscitation of the sports.
National Sports Authority, the act or the statute that establishes the National Sports Authority, mandates them to run the affairs or liaise. They are supposed to lay down the policy for all the sports federations in this country. And so federations like boxing, tennis, have to go through the National Sports Authority. This is the statute that establishes our body to run sports in this country. The Ghana Football Association is not an exception of these federations. So I'm not sure that when the statute expressly states that the National Sports Authority is the body mandated to have all these federations under them in terms of governance, it goes against that same statute that is explicit in how it is run. On the management committees, it is our suggestion that if government that pays for the affairs of the national teams cannot indicate to the Ghana Football Association or cannot liaise and cooperate that the 7 members, we have found that globally there is a way to do this without compromising the orderliness and organization of sports.
Sports Minister Mustafa Yusuf was the first public official to appear before the committee, and he highlighted some moves made by government to address the concerns raised by the group in February.
And that sports policy, as we have said, have been transferred to the National Development Planning Commission. They have made their input after all the stakeholders' engagement. They have made their input. Is at the final stage of it being launched. So, in their grievances of the lack of football policy, once the policy is adored, most of the issues that need to be addressed will be captured in the policy. Aside that, we are all aware that we have a National Sports Act, the National Sports Authority Act, that was established in 2016. And with your support, we have worked around the clock to get the LI, the legislative instrument, also put in place. Now the legislative instruments have been passed. And this instrument will also help in making sure that we improve on our policies and making sure that we regulate the sector very well and bring in dividends and improvement in the sector.
The minister also denied suggestions that the country did not get value for money in the millions of cedis spent on rehabilitation of the stadiums in Cape Coast, Accra, Kumasi, and Tamale.
The women in the African Games, the competition took place in Cape Coast. The men took place in Accra and in Legon. So once you finish a major tournament like this, there should be rehabilitation for those facilities. And this rehabilitation is currently ongoing in both Accra and in Cape Coast. And because SCAF have not come to certify the work that we have done, and the only one they've certified was Kumasi, and they've withdrawn, we have indicated, we have notified CAF that the rehabilitation work that we started immediately after the AFCON has been completed. So that is why I'm saying that it is not just about the expenditure that we have spent and it has not been used. We have hosted major and played major tournaments. And that is the Women AFCON, the African Games. We've played both most of our qualification matches in Cape Coast, and you know.
Honorable Minister, do we say that, per your submission, National Sports Authority failed its responsibility?
Of course, on Kumasi, if they haven't taken that singular action, we played Central African Republic match, and there was no any problem.
When things calmed down, the Ghana League Clubs Association took their turn. The group was led by its chairman, Kojo Fiano. Among many things, Fiano asked for tax reliefs for its members.
Or we think as an association, our preparations for major tournaments is always not up to the scratch. A simple decision as to where to even assemble for the pre-tournament preparation is more often than not well cut out. In some instances, we are expected to play in Africa in the climate. We rather go out to Europe to prepare. The call-ups. A time when the call-ups are announced, Ghanaians, being football fanatics, are ready to punch holes in the call-ups. Some of the call-ups have a lot of question marks around them. Now we all have the opportunity of watching European games. Some players are called and you ask yourself, what is the pedigree of this player that has been called to come and play in a top tournament like AFCON or World Cup qualifying series?
Chairman of the committee, Kobina Woyome, was satisfied with the day's work.
Yeah, it's been quite okay. I mean, even though there were some small attempts to be evasive, but I think we've been able to glean what we want to an extent, 80% of what we want. And we also rely on the documents that we have requested for. And so those documents will come. And don't forget, there are people also doing some talking behind the scene and giving us what we need to know. And we're going to put all of these things together and then be able to probably invite, when we are not clear with some of the answers, invite some of the witnesses before us again.
From Job 600, Parliament House, Victor Achutamaklu for Joy Sports.
Well, the committee sat again today, and the board chairman of the National Sports Authority said Panmu was in attendance alongside former Black Stars captain Stephen Appiah. Now, the board chairman of the National Sports Authority revealed that the board has decided to use national stadiums only for sports-related events until pitch covers are procured before the facilities will be leased out for other events like church services and musical events.
And as a board, we have also come in to institute certain measures to ensure that it doesn't happen again, and to ensure that the other sporting facilities that we have are all up to standard to be able to engage in sporting activities in this country, other than moving it to other sister countries to go and have participation. And we have also directed, I don't know whether it's the right time to put it out, we've also directed that none of our sporting stadiums should be used for no other activity other than sporting activities until such time that we can hold claim to pitch covers. That it is no news when you go to other countries. Even Wembley is given out for concert, but they ensure that they protect the pitch, with pitch covers. So as a country, I've had discussion with our Minister of Finance through our sector minister to see how urgently they can help, because we are also mandated to generate revenue, and our gate proceeds are insufficient to mandate us to fulfill that requirement put to us by you, honorable members of parliament, to do as well. So I can assure you that on this call we are doing so well to make sure that what happened before doesn't happen again. And Officer is also undergoing disciplinary measures. The officer who gave the facility out and failed to recover the pitch ahead of the game is also undergoing disciplinary measures at the authority as we speak.
Now, on his part, former Black Stars captain Stephen Appiah made a case for local players, more of them, to be included in the Black Stars squad. He believes this will help boost the confidence of the players and go a long way in helping develop the local league. He also touched on the need for managers of the local game to do more to help with the remuneration of players and to curtail the exodus of local players to some other African countries.
I think, yes, I think we have to give the local players, we have to give them the chance and confidence to play for the national team. So in our time, even there are certain players that looks as if they are key players in the team. We were not key players. We have players like William Theroux and the rest who were pushing us. So we too, we have to make sure that we are not going to allow them to take our positions. For example, when we went to the World Cup 2006, Osei Kufuor was a top defender. After the game against Germany, after the game against Italy, the second game against Czech Republic, it was Chile Alias who was playing for Kotoko. He came in and he stamped the position. Brilliant player. You have Habib Mohamed who took Adokwe Papo position, play number 3. Fantastic. So in our time, there was a competition. Today, there was no competition. So some of the players, they feel so cool that whether they play well or not, they will play. But in our time, it wasn't like that. There was a competition. When we played our second qualifier against South Africa in Kumasi, we lost our first game. We beat South Africa 3-0. I scored 2 goals, but I wasn't the man of the match. It was William Theroux who was playing for Liberty Professional. So this is the difference. Today, we don't have such things anymore. We have our players now running to go to Tanzania. It's a shame. They should rather come here. We have our players now going to Sudan. When we played against Niger, the number 7 who was the best player on the pitch, who played for Niger, is a Ghanaian. We have a striker who won the Goal King in Ghana Premier League because he didn't get the chance. Now he's playing for Togo. So we have to give our boys, we have to give them the chance. And because today our league is not attractive, that's why they are running and going to other countries. Why? Because some of the boys are earning 300 cedis. They are earning 500 cedis. And at times they have to go beyond 5 months. They have children. They have to take care of home. They have to pay their bills. So somebody will come and say, okay, I'll give you $800. They will go. That's why today we even opened a free gate, Kotoko against Accra Suffolk, empty stadium. So we have to try and look at those things.
In the Europa League ongoing, Manchester United have played a 1-1 draw against Dutch side FC 20. And, well, that's a few other games. We'll bring you more and highlights of that game in our subsequent bulletins. But that's all we have for you on Prime Sports tonight with me, Razak Musbao. We have more stories, especially from that parliamentary probe into the state of the sports sector on myjoyonline.com. Thank you very much for your company.